welcome back to my channel. It's Jeanette from All Things Natural here in Middle Tennessee. Today I'm going to be making a breath treat for my fur babies. I enjoy making my dogs treats, and this is just a favorite of mine. It's their breath and they love it. So what I have here is some mint that is straight off of my mint plant. And then I have some parsley, fresh parsley, and I bought that from the store. I haven't grown any of that, so that is from the store. Dogs can consume a little bit of mint and a little bit of parsley. Just don't overdo it. I'm usually make a double batch. I have 4 dogs, so I make a double batch, so that's why you see the amount in there. You can just put a little sprinkle, a handful in there. You don't have to measure anything. Just put a little bit in there, and that's what gives it the flavor, the fresh breath, smell, and taste. So today I'm also going to be using rolled oats, and again, I don't get any kickbacks from Red Mill, so it's just what I use. And it's very simple. It's a very simple recipe. It's what I love about it. So let's go ahead and get started. I want to put 2.5 cups worth in my blender of oats, and I've got my wine right here. Okay, so about 2.5 cups. So that's good. And then I'm going to throw in half, because remember I'm going to make a double batch. So this is just batch number 1. It's just easier for me to do that. So here's my mint leaves. And then I'm going to throw in half of my parsley. Okay, so it has finished in the blender. I have a smoothie setting, so I just hit it on smoothie and I hit start and I just let it do its thing. And so once that is done, I'm going to take that off. I'm going to grab my bowl here. In a previous video, I showed you guys how I stored some of my eggs, and I get an abundance amount of eggs. We have guineas and chickens that lay, and our girls have just been going crazy. And last year I had a whole bunch and I didn't know what to do with them, so I used pickling lime and a container of water, and I was saving my eggs that way. And I told you guys that I used it for baking. Well, this is where I use it. So I'm gonna grab 2 of these eggs per batch. So this is my first batch. So again, I'm just gonna kind of reach in there. Now on these, because it is the pickling lime, I want to make sure that I wipe it off. And so this looks like a little guinea egg. So I've got 2 eggs there. Guinea eggs are a little bit smaller than chicken eggs. I'm not sure if you guys know that, but they are just a little bit smaller. So I'm wiping off that juice, and it really doesn't matter. I just don't want it in my food. So then I'm going to go ahead and put my 2 eggs in. I will not be saving my eggshells. In the previous video I showed you how I did that to save for the powder, to make eggshell powder, but I will not be doing that with these because, again, of the pickling lime. So I'm going to toss this out when I'm finished. So I've got my 2 eggs in there right now, and I'm going to go ahead. And this is a Ninja blender, so if you have one, that's what I'm doing. I'm just removing the insert, and then I'm going to dump this in. I always get some on the side, so I'm going to use my spatula. Okay. I'll put that back together because, again, I'm going to make another batch. So I'm just going to show you my first batch. So I'm just going to go ahead and start working those eggs in with my oats and my mint and my parsley. Okay. And then the recipe also calls for 3 tablespoons of coconut oil. Coconut oil is really good for dogs, especially their coats with fleas and ticks. So this is a natural flea and tick repellent, and I love it. We do not use pharmaceuticals on our dogs, for our dogs. We are all natural. I will show you some more things that I use for them in a future video. But right now, here's my 3 tablespoons of the coconut oil. Again, really good for them, so I'm going to work that in. The mixture should start getting a little lumpy. And then I'm going to add in 1/4 of a cup of water. Okay, so the last ingredient I'm going to add in is 1/4 of a cup of water. Again, just going to work all that in. Perfect. It's looking good. Okay, so while I'm working that in, I like to kind of give it a break for a second as I'm going through, and I'm going to go ahead and start my oven for 325 degrees. So see how moist that is, and I can really dig into that and I can form it. Okay, so I'm going to transfer this over to my silicone. As you can see, I'm just going to, if I get too much in it, I'm just going to move it over to the next one. I'm just going to pat it down in there. As you can see, it'll form very nicely into the little silicone paw print. Okay, and I'm just going to keep going with this. My oven is set to 325. As soon as I get my trays filled, I will pop those in on a baking sheet. Okay guys, so we're done. I'm going to go ahead and pop these out of the silicone, and I'm going to pop it on a cooling tray. So I'm just going to, on the other side, just pop them through, and they just look so cute. They're so adorable. And I'm just going to let them sit on the cooling rack for about 30 minutes. My dogs are already lined up. They know what's coming. So very, very excited to give them some. Okay, so my dogs have been waiting very impatiently for their mint and parsley breath mints. So everybody's sitting very nicely. Sugar, can you shake? Good girl. Hampton, shake. Good boy. Midnight, shake. Good girl. Angel, shake. Oh, good girl. I got a double shake. So it is success. They love it. It's very good. The rest of it I'm going to save. So I've got 2 containers, because what I do is I usually keep half into the container and they last for about a week and a half, and then I freeze the other half. So I'm just going to divide this up. Okay, looks like we are full for the freezer portion. And then I've got some for the week to give them. And that is homemade fresh breath mints. Doggie approved. Jesus saves.